Hello, so today I'm going to review a pump that I've been using for almost 1 year, and it's the Jebao Crossflow. It's CP-150. So this is probably, I think, the most powerful pump from Jebao, and that's the reason I got it, because I wanted a pump that could by itself move all the water in the tank. My tank is approximately 200 gallons, which is around 750 something liters. This pump has many advantages. So the thing is that, okay, this is a big pump. As you can see, I've been using, and I only cleaned the main body, not the piece here that supports the pump. It has a strong magnet that has no problem with my 12 millimeters thick glass, which is about half an inch, and I think it would support the pump even in a much thicker glass. My experience with this pump is that it lived up to its expectations. It's dead silent. It's the first thing I have to notice, is that this pump is really dead silent. And one advantage, because of course this is a clone of the gyre pumps, is that it can be put very close to the surface, and I found that it's really the best position for this pump. I tried to use it vertically, but to really get the water moving, that kind of gyre effect with lot of upwelling and water moving all over the tank, the best way to achieve it is to put it near the surface. So the water goes near the surface, hits the glass at the end, goes down, comes down through the bottom, and then up again. One thing I also like about this pump is that it is, although a very powerful pump, I think it's rated for 27,000 liters per hour, which is huge. And I believe it is, because it moves a ton of water, is that the grills around the pump are very thin. And I think they're basically small fish proof, which is a problem when if the pump either by schedule or by any other situation is turned off, small fish like small blennies or gobies could enter the pump, try to find there a home for a while, and then when the pump starts, they get trucidated by the pump. So I think that is a great thing. I also have, of course, lots of anemones, and I've had some anemones meet this pump. And all the anemones that have met this pump survived. They got damaged because the tentacles can get inside, but they survived because the grill is pretty thin. Which leads me to the next problem, I think, with this pump, because I think it requires a good schedule of maintenance to keep it in top performance. But I think that's also true of mostly other pumps, because the grill is thin, it can get clogged quickly, in a matter of weeks, and you start to notice that the pump is not as powerful as before. So what do? I keep always a toothbrush on hand, and even without removing it from the tank, I brush it, even without turning it off, and I notice immediate improvement. And then from time to time I take it out, I disassemble it and give it a really thorough cleaning. How is this disassembled? Well, not difficult at all. So you take these two parts apart and you get the main body of the pump. This, of course, is the best is to do something I didn't do yet to this piece, which is place it in a solution of water and vinegar overnight and then clean it. This, the same. To disassemble this, not difficult at all. The one thing you have to to bear in mind is that you can switch the parts around. But if you switch them around, the pump will not work properly. It will work, but it will move 1/10 or 10% of the water because you have the blades the other side around. So you see, you just pull each part, and this is the main motor. You see here. They are just the same from both sides. And then you have each of the side. Here you have the blade inside and the enclosing. The enclosing, of course, is very easy to clean with once again with the toothbrush. And of course you can rotate it to make the water flow in the direction you want, upwards or downwards. And this is the rotor itself. The blades are tilted in one direction, so it makes it easier to know which blade goes to which side. You see, now this has a rubber piece here, which also can be removed. This rubber piece, and it can be cleaned also underneath the rubber. And then this goes in here and this goes in here. And the ceramic shaft goes into this small hole in the middle. And it's there. So it's very easy to assemble and disassemble. And once again, I must say this, I can't hear it in the tank. I bought two of them, and what I did is, for a time I used the two of them at the same time vertically. But then I realized that I could use just one horizontally, and this pump takes care of the flow of my tank, which is a mixed reef. So it has some acros, monties, LPS, soft corals, anemones, and it gets a fairly good flow all around the tank. Controllability. This is the controller of the pump, and it's fairly simple. It has 3 buttons and a rotating knob here. You can rotate left or right. And so the first one, the pink button, controls the mode, and it has 4 modes. The first mode is a constant mode, and for that you can press the green button to control the speed. The second mode is the pulse mode, which you can use to create waves, and you control here the speed of the pump, but with the knob here you control the frequency of the wave. This is less than optimal, because if you change these, you have to spend a great deal of time trying to create a wave again. And of course, if you have some kind of digital control instead of this one, you know a number and you know exactly what number creates the wave in your tank. So this is not optimal at all. The third mode, which is they call W2, the first, is the wave mode. So instead of pulsing, the pump ramps up and down slowly. And of course, the speed is the maximum speed that the pump goes, and here you once again control the frequency. The last mode is the random mode. So the pump randomly goes up and down, and here once again you control the speed of the pump, and here the frequency. If you have very low frequency, the pump changes very quickly. If you turn it to the maximum amount, the pump then varies, but varies more slowly. Of course, it has a feed button here, and what I notice is that when the power is out, it keeps the memory. Whatever settings you add for speed, mode, etc., it keeps the memory. And it's a very, very simple controller. It doesn't do much more than this, and if you just want to move the water in the tank, it's enough. Well, I did get another controller, which is the T1 controller. This is a Wi-Fi controller, so without this the pump cannot communicate with other pumps or or have any kind of Wi-Fi controllability. So what does this do? Well, the main thing that this enables you, if you like, mainly if you like gadgets, is that it allows you to program the pump, to create a schedule. You can put how many points you want on this schedule, up and down, changing modes, well, it's not exactly that flexible. It could be more flexible, to tell you the truth, because, for example, okay, you can say that you want a random mode at 2 o'clock, and then you want to go into what they call a nature mode, which is a gently changing random mode. But the things that you can't control the frequency, and you can't control the speed. They are pre-programmed random modes that you can't have the level of control you have with the factory controller. Another thing that could be improved is the fact that when you want to use this pump to create a wave in the tank, wave motion, in pulse mode, it's really a stupid mistake, because it only allows you to put a period of time of the pulse. The minimum is 1 second and the next is 2 seconds. You can't put 2.1 seconds, and it's a stupid mistake by programming. I tried to warn them, they haven't corrected it. I don't think they pay much attention to this. Other than that, I had one of these controllers fry. I don't know what happened, but the good thing is that I just told them, and I told them what happened. They tried to give me a sequence of steps to try to fix the problem, but it wasn't possible, because there is a LED light here, and the LED light wouldn't even turn on, so I couldn't do anything. And I just paid for the shipping, and they sent me a new one. The new one is now working well. More about this pump. I think I must conclude just saying that I'm very happy with it. For the things that I want, I just wished, especially concerning this controller, it was a bit more professionally made in terms of the programming. It seems somewhat amateurish. And also there are things that are a bit confusing, because when you install the controller, it asks you what the pump it is, and if you're using it in normal mode or reverse. And no matter what you choose, it always changes, and you have to go there after the installation and change it by yourself, sometimes 2 or 3 times to convince him. And I have to say that this pump is working in reverse mode to make it work sometimes, and it's not. So I think that the controller, it works. It's not. It works. The best thing is that allows you to change modes throughout the day. So in my case, I use it to have to simulate 2 high tides with high flow. But in terms of the programming, it's a bit amateurish. The thing of not allowing numbers other than integer for the period of the pulse mode. You can just say it's nature mode or reef mode, but you can't control the speed at which changes either one or the other of the maximum. The good thing is that you also have the constant mode. And in the constant mode, yes, it allows you to say the percentage of the pump that you want to use. Now, the thing that I found most interesting about this is that it allows you to overclock the pump. So you can get the pump to work at 120%. And to tell you the truth, I tried it, and it's 20. Well, it's over 20% on top of an already huge number, which is 27,000 liters per hour. So these 20% are very noticeable, and unless you have a very long tank, this thing will get your sand moving all over the place. But I managed to use it in some situations if the pump is not too clean. I did overclock it and the pump didn't burn. But I'm not sure if that caused the controller to burn or not. I don't know what caused the controller to have that problem. So overall, this is an astounding pump. I can't compare it with other pumps like the original, the max spec, the gyres. But I can say that this is, for my case, which I have small fish and anemones, I don't use any kind of protection on this. The only protection I can use is put a candle burning for the aquarium sink so that any anemone doesn't get attracted to the pump, but other than that, the only thing I do is run carbon. And it's something that it is usually beneficial for people with anemones, because in the event of a problem, if you change your carbon frequently and use small amounts, it can help to prevent bigger problems in the tank. So, great pump. I would highly recommend it, and of course this is not a sponsored video. I just got them from Hong Kong, a couple of them, and I think they are a tremendous value for the cost. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'll try to answer them the best that I can. They are still going. Nowadays I get one pump in the tank and running. When I need to clean it, take it out, put the other in, and while you clean the other, stays for a month or so, and then we do it again about a month later, change the pumps. Of course it has a cord that goes inside the tank, but the cord goes on top, and because this is a pump that is normally used very close to the surface, this cord is barely noticeable, because it can even run out of water to the side of the tank, depending where you put it. But it's a very discreet pump for being so large, because it goes on top. It doesn't spoil very much the landscape of the tank. Well, once again, thank you for watching.